What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new format for the Unemployable podcast. This is a podcast that we are going to release every Friday unless we completely suck. So that is yet to be seen. It's going to be determined by the comments that we get below and the feedback that we get. But the idea of this Friday session, guys, is it's meant to feel like you're sitting down with the four of us and getting an insight into what it would be like having a coffee with us when we just catch up with each other about our businesses. Because the one thing that we think differentiates Unemployable from many podcasts is that podcasting for us is a side hustle around our businesses. All of us here are building one or multiple businesses or running multiple businesses. So we are in the field doing what we hope you guys are doing, which is, learning and building and growing and networking and hanging out with good people. And so these Friday sessions is just us checking in with each other on camera and having a chat about our own businesses and what we're struggling with, what we're doing well, what we're thinking about. And we think it could be valuable for many of you who are out there on your own, battling away, because we do know that it's very, very common to feel like you're alone, you're sitting there, your spouse may or may not understand and support you, your co-workers may or may not understand and support you. But if you're one of those crazy people on this entrepreneurial journey, hopefully this will become a haven for you to come and listen to four other crazy buggers that are out there trying to do it as well. So with that said, how are you guys? What's going on, James? What's happening in your world?
Oh, mate, lots going on. It's been a pretty heavy couple of weeks in the trenches. So which we'll dig into in a moment, but just trying to keep fit and healthy and on the straight and narrow out there.
You are looking fit and healthy. I got to say, you've leaned up. You're looking good,
mate. You've got to be your own walking business card. So, so just FYI.
Yeah, for the record, ladies, James is single
again.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because we actually haven't checked in since episode 1, and we really didn't know what we were doing in episode 1. We were just trying to find our feet, where we sort of had this episode called Meet the Mavericks. James runs a healthcare business up in Brisbane that he acquired really astutely, and he's scaling that. So we'll loop back to you, James. What about you, Mark? What's going on, mate? You good? Ready to rock and roll?
Doing well. I was just saying to the boys off camera before how one of the best things about doing this podcast so far has been, the last 3 years in entrepreneurship, I've pretty much felt alone, but watching the podcasts, interviewing the guests and hearing how similar their stories are, it actually reminds you that you're part of a community that's all going through the same thing. So I think this session is, I don't know about the audience, but I think this session today is going to be super valuable for me because I can't wait to just shoot the shit and talk about things that I'm going through in my business and get the expert opinion of three people also in the trenches.
And what we're learning too, I think one of the secrets of running a podcast is our network is really expanding with some incredible people, and we're learning every single week right along with you guys. And the future for Unemployable, our vision for it is that, eventually we will have a conference once a year where unemployables can get together and hang out. You'll get to meet face to face, some of the people that have been on the pod and just really build a community around this brand. So what about you, Eric? How are you doing, buddy?
Everything's good. Excited to, just have a bit of banter between us. It's good interviewing people, but I kind of missed that first episode that we did, and we were just kind of chatting amongst ourselves because I think there's so much value off camera that we talk about just in our daily lives, So it'd be good to just kind of get it on the table and put it on a pod and make us accountable to do it on a regular basis.
And I think getting people to know us and our businesses a bit more, like in a recent pod I was talking about, a business that I owned years ago, which was a hair salon in Sydney. A lot of people don't know that, A lot of people know that you own MX, but they don't realise that outside of that, you've got a couple of other e-commerce businesses. One's at 8 figures, another one's about to break 8 figures outside of the main business, which is crazy. So I think it's going to be really good for people to get to know and understand that more deeply.
What about you? Captain of the ship? How have you been? You've been pretty busy. If you follow you on social, you're like a fucking mad fly.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, look, I've been really good. I've been over to Japan with the wife and son and his girlfriend. So that was absolutely terrific. I've been to Japan years ago. When I was younger, the cheapest way to get to to LA was via Japan on Japan Airlines. Oh, yeah. And so I went through Narita Airport like 4 or 5 times when I go to LA. And all I saw was Narita and the little free government tour around it. Back in the days when you get on a plane in Brisbane Airport, if you can imagine this, and Japan Airlines used to be a smoking airline. It was one of the last smoking airlines. You get on and you sit, and then as soon as the wheels take up, the Japanese would light up their cigarettes in the plane. And this is in my lifetime. And they're like, oh, no, that's the smoking section back there. Like, it actually makes a difference.
There's like a fucking fly screen in between you.
There's not even the fly screen. It's just like aisle 6 onwards or whatever it is, you know.
How good's Japan in general? I've been up a couple of times snowboarding, and if it's the place, it's like like going to the Jetsons. And then you get out of the city, and it's just like so calm and peaceful and beautiful.
I loved it. We stayed in a hotel chain called the Hoshinoya in Tokyo. It's a very, very special hotel I've wanted to go to for a long time. Only a very small number of rooms. There's a restaurant there that's just for the guests of the hotel. And you don't get out of your kimono while you're in the actual hotel. They give you this beautiful kimono and you cruise around. You've got a private little dining area just for the guests on that floor. And then we went out of the city. We had some amazing experiences. Went to Ginza and I took my son out and we went to a beautiful whiskey bar and had a fine cigar and all that. But then we went up to Nikko and I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton in Nikko, and oh my God, like it's at the foot of an inactive volcano, and the service and the architecture and the whole Japanese experience is exemplified in that property. If you ever get the chance and you want to have a quiet weekend away in the Japanese countryside in an incredible location and venue, that would be my pick.
That photo you posted on Instagram, I think there was like a bar with the snow setting outside. Where was that? That looked amazing.
That was Nikko. Yeah, that was the
I would
Ritz.
love to sit there all day and just do some deep work.
That hotel, like honestly, of all the hotels, and I've been to some amazing hotels, Villa d'Este and Lake Como and some pretty special places, but I love the Japanese minimalism, the design aesthetic, the approach to excellence. The food was just off the charts.
Bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I thought you were going to be wearing your robe today for the rest of the people watching.
Honestly, I could get into that Japanese lifestyle of the kimonos and I really did enjoy it.
Eric did try it here during summer anyway, and we sort of fucking put a lid on that now.
Yeah. There's that phrase, open the kimono, and I'm like, no, it was really good. So home, but my wife's still there. Cass is up there still with a girlfriend, and they're touring for another couple of weeks, and my son's still up there.
The GP's coming up, isn't it? Next GP is Japan.
It is.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. So she's there for another week or so, and I had to come home to keep an eye on the businesses, and the business is going really well. So Dry Flush is going really, really good. We're having our best month, I think, this month ever, which is like we're in March, so it's not like sales season or whatever. But what's happening in that business is, I've got a CEO on now, business partner who I've incentivized, Kevin, just fundamentally because I didn't have the attention that was required. And so I brought in someone, which we can talk about this a bit later, but just having that higher level of attention paid by somebody who's appropriately incentivized is paying off. And we're starting to, because we're 1 year in almost to the day from the marketing, so we're starting to get people, because it's a $2,000 product, we're starting to get orders from people who looked 6 months ago, 9 months ago, and are now making their buying decision. And the back end of the business, which are the bags. So when we sell a toilet, people need to buy the consumables. That business is now growing more and more and more. And the wonderful part about that is there's no cost of acquisition of the customer because they're now just reordering. So the margin is getting better and better with every passing month. So that's really good. And we also sold the rights to New Zealand to one of the people in our private coaching group, James, who we're really excited about. He's now got his first order on the water and be representing the products out there.
Can you talk us through, if you don't mind, talk us through the hire of the CEO and how he's having an impact? Because I'm doing some hiring at the moment, and I've brought in a business partner for my second brand, and I'm just trying to work out where and how to implement the new team members to have the highest impact. So can you talk through that in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, so pretty much most of my business relationships today come through my networks. People that have nurtured a relationship with me over time, or I've nurtured a relationship with them over time. I don't really get key hires that much at like the partnership level through Seek or something, like people who are actually going to have a piece of the business. And so first of all, that's something that I'm very blessed to have now, is that sort of influence. So this guy I've known for a long time, for like 20 years. And I was just sitting there with Cass, we're racking our brains. We both knew it was time to hand the baby off because it had grown to a point where we knew there was more in the business, but we didn't have it in us to give it. And so we thought it was a disservice to our partners who make the products in the US. We promised to do the very best we could with the Australian-New Zealand territory, which involved jettisoning New Zealand for a bunch of reasons to somebody living there on the ground. So I looked for a guy or girl that I thought would be a great fit. And the guy I got, his name's Kevy Mailer, really great guy, just good human being, been through a lot of stuff. He had stage 4 cancer, survived it, lost his business during that process because he was given like less than 20% chance of survival. But he had a business called Empowered Auto Parts, which is still around today, and it has thousands of SKUs selling brake pads and different things. So I had a strong e-commerce background. And I knew that he was hungry to get back into business. So I reached out to him and said, hey, Kevy, this is the story. Here's my numbers. Here's what I think the business can do. Do you want to come in and run the thing and I'll cut you in? So we did a deal. So is there anything you wanted to dig into particularly?
More about the day-to-day. Like what is he working on day-to-day to start to make the cogs move within the business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we sit down every month. We just did it last week actually for 2 hours. And we go, right, what are the things that are going to move the needle in this business? So one of the things, the first low-hanging fruit was a V2 of the website. So when I started the business a year ago, I built it on Wix myself. And it's a pretty B-grade job, and I'm being kind to myself by saying B. It's probably a C or a D. It can take a credit card and transact, and it's not terrible. A lot of people might look at it right now and say it's okay. But I know that it's not awesome. Right, it's not like MX Store quality of thought and customer journey. So the first thing we did was we put out a RFP or request for RFQ, for web developers. So we interviewed I think 10, and this was good learning. Kevy won't mind me saying this. Kevy hasn't been in business for a while because of what he went through. And he's getting used to working with me. And I've got really, really high standards. So I said, this is what we're looking for. And it took a while. And we found a company in Melbourne, a female-owned web development firm, who, by comparison to everyone else, just so much better quality on every level. So we hired them. It's about a $25,000 build and we've only got 8 products. A lot of people said, I could have got that for you for $3,000 on Shopify, on Upwork or whatever. I'm like, no, dude. Like, we've got $1 million business.
We could probably dig into this as well because we're in the process of building a $3,000 website for our new brand. We've got the existing brand, which we want to start now scaling off Amazon. And this could be a valuable conversation.
Well, I mean, our thought about it is really simple, right? Like, if you're going to be trying to get data, when you start a business, right, you're trying to buy information. So you go and run ads. And initially, you're not trying to convert sales as much. You're trying to actually just figure out what does it cost to get a click? What is the conversion rate and all these things? To get optimal data, you need to be in the bed. Like James, for example, with dating, right? He might go into a bar and approach 5 girls. But if he's out of shape and dressed really poorly, his conversion rate to getting a girl to say yes to a date is going to be much lower than if he's in shape and well-dressed.
Or just use the apps and lie in your photos, and then it's called a bait and switch.
That never happens.
So what's your excuse now?
But trust me, the numbers are solid, Eric. It's fine.
That was you 20 years ago, 20 pounds ago sort of thing, right? But so in business, it's the same. A lot of people are going to the bar and not getting their website in optimal shape, and there is a craft to it. And we were looking for a firm that was obsessed with Shopify and what best practice is, and we wanted them to have a big enough client base that we could learn from what they've learned across all these. And so we worked with this company out of Melbourne. I would say their name, but I'll actually want them to deliver the product before I tell the name.
I'll see how it turns out, and then I'll grab the
details. But I will share it on
you.
the pod. Once we're finished and it's proven, I will share it without any kickbacks or anything. But I've been really, really impressed. So the first one was the website, and we want the website to be designed by best in class so that they understand customer journey when they come in from an ad. What are the questions in someone's mind and all that?
And are you guys going to the extent of running heat mapping software and everything to see where people are hanging out on the site?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. So seeing what people are clicking. We'll be split testing a whole bunch of stuff, colours of buttons, words on buttons, all of that stuff. So we're lifting
Amazing, yeah.
lifting the standard of our website was number one. Things like on the product page for the toilet, having a discount, but we've just paid for a plugin that says this discount's available for 2 days, 14 hours, 37 minutes and 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds. You know what I mean? So it kicks that reptilian brain into like, this is a limited time. You know, there's all
right.
this kind of stuff.
So you've seen their past work, and you've seen that they've built out these similar flows and systems.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And the difference is enormous.
Yeah.
And when they talk to you, like it was a lady salesperson, everyone else was a male salesperson. This lady kept checking in. Does that make sense with you guys? Have you got any questions? The pitch was just fantastic. But it took us interviewing 10 different companies to find the one. So the first one was the website. Then there's some of the creative on the website, like the main video. We hired a guy called Jordan from Ventura Media. You can Google him. And he's here on the Gold Coast. Jordan's got a real superpower in that what he does is he's on-screen talent and a videographer and a scriptwriter and an editor. And so he does work for Trade Tools, Bunnings, and that they hire him to like demonstrate the new Makita power saw or the new range of buckets or paintbrushes, and he creates content for them that they can put on their website or on their product pages and everything. And he did such a good job for us. So I said, I want to get off the Dry Flush website with my face. I did it, but I don't necessarily want to be the face of the toilet brand long term. It's probably not going to serve me for all the other things I want to do. So we hired Jordan, and he's done, like, my video is good, but his video, next level. Just that polish, you know, the way he'd shot it, just fantastic. And I think it was $1,500 for the video or $2,000, worth every cent, you know.
That's amazing.
So we upgraded our creative, upgrading the website. Those are the first two things. And then we looked at, so some of the other stuff. With our business, most of the caravan industry is in Melbourne, and we have somebody in our coaching network who has deep established networks within the caravan industry. Shout out to Chris Sheep from Caravia. Chris is a really good human being, and he has, it's not lost on me how valuable it is to be able to send an email to the right person at Jayco Caravans, which he did for us, and we now have a meeting with Jayco as a result. Wow. So I reached out to Chris and said, hey man, we want to do a tour. I said to Kevy, let's put you on a plane down to Melbourne with a toilet and do a tour of the caravan businesses in Melbourne. And so Kevy said, great, what? And then we dug into, okay, what do we need to do to optimize this trip? And then we just got the piece of paper out. We said, all right, let's contact Chris. Chris put us into about a dozen caravan companies by direct recommendation. We then said, all right, we need a brochure that's specifically a physical thing that we're going to mail with a letter in advance to all the caravan companies in Melbourne. So we went to 99 Designs. There's a girl I've used who did our logo and everything on 99 Designs. I said, how much would you charge for this brochure? Kevy wrote the brochure. I proofed it. So $200. She's made a DL foldable thing, and we're going to mail that to 150, and we'll then call them and say, hey, we're going to be in Melbourne for a week, and we'll set up as many face-to-faces as we can. And those will be sort of just developing out our manufacturers that may want to incorporate it or offer it as an option. And we're going to stop in and do the same in Sydney. There's a particular handful of caravan conversion companies and stuff. So basically we identified and have executed now on a strategy to actually increase our trade footprint. Distribution outside of traffic on Google. We've currently got a transaction in process with BHP. So BHP have ordered 10 of our toilets that they're testing, and pending the outcome of that, which we're pretty confident that we've been in touch with the guy, Ben at BHP. They're buying 183 units from us to go into all their trains across Australia. So that order's like a $400,000 single order.
Your B2B market might match the B2C, or it might increase beyond it, right?
Yeah, it will. We got a inquiry. Somebody watched the pod actually and said, "Hey Adam, I'd love to help you out. I work for the largest mining supplies company in Australia."
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, what do you guys do?" And they said, "We supply everything to mines." And there's two particular use cases that I think would be fantastic for these toilets. And they sell these. They look like shipping containers, but they're longer and they're slightly bigger. But in all these mines, I didn't know this because I'm not mining, but if there's an emergency, they have to rush to these life pods, and that can sustain a mine collapsing. And in there is oxygen, food, and all this stuff. And of course, the toilet. And they said, this is the toilet they have in there now. And it's not anywhere near as good as what your solution would be for that context. And this is another product that they have, which is like, imagine a 20-foot shipping container cut in half, and then imagine sort of one that's chopped and sliced in half again that's got water. And then the other one's got the toilet in it, and it's just a pump the water and the waste go into the container, and then they just airlift them out. And it said, hey, we could put your dry flush toilets in there and it'd be way cheaper, way more efficient and better because it would use no water. So we've had one meeting with those guys as well. But these guys, like, they're not like onesie twosies. They're like crates at a time of the product. So yeah, so we've got a business to business sort of strategy that we're rolling out. And and then we've just got a couple of other things, but that's all we can do right now. And we're trying to get into a couple of the trade shows. The one that we really want to get to is called Dealers and Diggers. It happens once a year in Kalgoorlie, but it's like a 12-year wait list to get a booth there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like apparently the mining expo to get to. But you can go there and attend if you can get accommodation, which you have to book a year or two in advance. So
I sort of got that mixed up. It's half the Gold Coast, Dealers and Gold
yeah,
Coast.
Dealers and Diggers. There's probably both of those.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Can you share a booth with someone maybe?
Or do some guerrilla marketing.
Possibly do some guerrilla marketing, stuff like that. I mean, initially we just want to see the lay of the land and just see what's happening there. But apparently it's like got dusty miners and prospectors that have roll in there with their boots on and their cowboy hats, and then you've got the corporates from Perth and Sydney and Melbourne that are looking to invest, and it's a real melting pot of the Australian mining industry. So
It's insane.
So anyway, we're basically sitting down. It's just the two of us. We don't have any employees. We just have a 3PL in Brisbane. There's no wages coming out of the business.
Yep.
As I sit here today, we're at 95,000, I think, for the month at the moment. And the margin's growing and growing now to 25, getting towards 30% because of the growth at the back end. So for a little business that's a year old that has already repaid all the capital that I put in. It's pretty good.
So when you say there's no wages coming out of the business, Kevin's come on and there's a partnership deal, but he's not taking a wage yet?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's working on equity because the advantage I had, right, is that he came on when it's already $1 million a year business. Mm-hmm. I didn't get him on when there's no product market fit, super high risk. There is product market fit. There's very few businesses that go from $0 to $1 million in 1 year.
Yep.
So that demonstrates high product market fit. So with anything in business, the way to de-risk something is to prove it. Mm. And so the more you can de-risk something, the more it's worth. And so the longer you can wait, or the more evidence you can put on the table, the more you'll get to keep, empirically, in my experience. Yeah. So Kevy's absolutely loving it because he hasn't been in the game for a minute, and now he's back in the gym of business. And I'm like, how you going, mate? Like, I'm checking. He goes, mate, I'm loving this. He goes, I feel like I'm a little bit unfit, like business unfit, which I knew he would be, but you can't make up for desire, and you've said this on the pod. You can't make up for hunger, and he's the right guy. He's a real person, people person. Like, he loves people and he loves talking to people on the phone. And our market of campers and boaters and outdoorsy people, they love Kevy because he's that guy. So it's been a really good move for us. We've now got a partner in there that's running it. We feel confident that we've got anywhere, I think, between $3 and $5 million a year business there at about a 25% net, at which point we'll probably sell it. And Kevy's really well incentivized. He'll become a millionaire, not that he isn't already, but out of this transaction.
Yeah, amazing. No, that's helpful.
So that's what we've been working on in Dry Flush. What about someone else? What have you guys been working on? James, what about you?
Yeah, mate, just much like Dry Flush, we're a year into that acquisition now, so I'm starting to see some patterns and also starting to see some stability. We've hired an ops manager. She's a younger lady. She was in a high turnover e-com business, specialising on the Shopify platform.
Just for context, before you dive in, a lot of people don't know your story. So you acquired a healthcare, sell healthcare
exactly.
product.
Yeah, high ticket products-based healthcare business catering for the disabled and elderly. And so in that sector.
So physical products. Let's say wheelchairs and ladders.
Yeah, exactly. Like so we've been there for 12 months. There was a lot of I use it the saying, there's a lot of nuts and bolts. We pulled them all out and polished and put back what worked and threw away the rest, and we threw away most. So we've rebuilt all systems, rebuilt on Shopify, CRMs, warehouse management software, you name it. So it's come full circle now. We've got our model worked out. So we've gone through and now we're in that with funding's through. So we're in that recruitment stage now. So we'll step out of it, start winding ourselves back out of that business. My business partner being on the operations side. We had 2 warehouses up in Brisbane. I did some deep investigative stuff about how to de-risk this business, and we let one of the warehouses go. Did some research into a 3PL overflow model, where for the same price of having that secondary unit or warehouse, I can have 8 40-foot containers on rotation in a 3PL with zero risk, but it means I can scale down to 1 container if I need on rotation, or I can scale to 80 containers. So it scales with us with zero risk. So
can you just explain that, like, just slowly?
Yeah. So effectively,
so you had us 2 warehouses,
correct,
that were holding stock,
correct.
And so how much was one of these warehouses costing?
They're about $8,500 a month.
Okay, so $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so what did you do?
I went to a 3PL warehousing and worked out per 40-foot container for them to pick it from the dock, devein it and still warehouse it for us until we needed then transport it into our warehouse. What was the cost? How many containers a month could I have for the same $8,000 rotating in and out, but de-risking it so our names weren't on a secondary lease in case shit hit the fan? Things change, they do.
Can you, when you say de-risking it, and I'm trying to understand how the containers rotate.
When a container comes off a ship, it goes to their warehouse.
Yep.
They pack it and store
Keep it in their warehouse.
Keep it in their warehouse. When I want it, I call for it, and they semi-trailer across to us. So de-risking is, I mean, I have 2 leases permanently. I don't want that risk around my neck. I now have 1. I got rid of one of my warehouses, and I use them as an overflow. I can scale it up and down as I see fit. And it works. And so what I worked out is I can have exactly 8 40-foot containers on rotation or in their warehouses per month for the same rate. I can have my own warehouse with not signing myself up with a 3x3 year lease.
That's really clever.
So
will it be 8, or will you actually save money most of the time?
At the moment, that depends on how we scale. But like I just want to work out what, for the same money I'm spending now with no risk, what is my capacity? I can have 60, 100, whatever. It might be 2, it might be 1, and there's $8,000, $7,000 saving per month, which goes straight in my pocket, or straight into ads, or straight into scale, or straight into systems. So,
do you need to have any warehouses?
Yeah, we do, because
is the fulfillment?
Yeah, it's touch fulfillment. In other words, we've got to sometimes install certain parts, run them through a servicing model, or install X, Y, and Z. So at the minute, I do want to, and I also investigated a 3PL that could do all those services. Right now, we're at a point where we thought, let's just put 1 foot out, but not both feet at the same time in case it screws up. Yeah. So we'll get to that point, and we've already discussed with those 3PLs, them fulfilling that service for us as well. So it's not off the table. Yep. Let's just go one at a time. We're profitable when we had two warehouses. Let's just move to 1, and the whole goal here is to get to potentially a full 3PL model for this without any lack of quality of service and speed, and then it's a completely de-risked business. It's like drop shipping, or to an extent. So that is the model, but that's step 1, is just renegotiating those leases, and now putting in an ops manager, you said, and scaling up. We've outsourced recruitment for salespeople. It's a job I don't want to do anymore, and there's better people that can do that better than I can.
So outsource recruitment for salespeople.
Correct, and appointment setters.
Explain how that works. So
there's a company out of the States which they recruit for high ticket, generally for info stuff, and they recruit for all the big guys like Dean Graziosi, all those huge guys.
So what exactly do they do that you did have in the house and you're now outsourcing? Just give us a practical context.
Yes. So in other words, they've got a sales training model. So in other words, people come and self-select and pay to go through their training. It might be 10, 12 grand US. They've then got a database of people who've actually self-selected to become high-ticket closers.
Professional salespeople.
Well, they've gone through the training.
Yes.
Then what they do, and they've got a footprint here in Australia, as it turns out. So I said, and one thing that is the bane of my existence, I cannot stand it, and that is recruitment and training, even though I
so time consuming.
Can train and can sell. I just it's my time is not really, my heart's not in that model anymore. I used to run contract sales floors. In other words, I would come into someone's business and appear to be them and do all their selling for them. So I'm not, it's not a foreign thing to me. I'm just into doing deals now. So
were you doing the selling for your business initially?
No,
or have you
no,
haven't been doing it?
So you had salespeople in Australia that were under your purview, so to speak, and now that they were remote, but you were doing the recruitment, you were training them, you were managing them.
correct.
And now you've gone to this American company who says, we've got trained salespeople.
Yep,
You come to us, tell us how many you want,
correct.
Yeah, wow.
test them out.
On tap and appointment setters. We've changed our model too from just having direct salespeople to putting an appointment setter on to then having the salespeople, and the results been fairly instant, which is good. And again, they're scalable as well, and they're all under their sales training. And the next step then for me in the front end, I'll get to lead generation in a minute, is that the next hire will be, we've just put the call out literally this morning for another salesperson. There'll be the next role will be a salesperson, and then they'll recruit a sales manager. And so I'll be pretty much backed out of that business by June.
Do these people work in the U.S.?
No, they're all actually, that's a good question, but the footprint, funnily enough, from this sales organisation is I've got a guy out of New Zealand who's an American guy, whatever. But so I said I want Australia and New Zealand because of what they work the time zone. And also the demographic of people we're dealing with, I want them to be speaking very close to.
Can you just step us through that sales funnel? So you've got ads running online for the products you sell.
No, I've got ads online running for people to work out whether which of our products suit them best.
Like a survey.
Correct. They then come through that funnel. They then either at the conclusion of that survey will book a call themselves, and if not, the salespeople used to call them, and then work through a discovery call.
And now where does the survey the appointment setter fit in?
Right now, so if the lead's been generated, they've filled out a 10-question survey, and they come through and they haven't booked a call, the appointment setter will jump on that and go, hey, notice you filled out the survey. Next step in the process is X, Y, and Z.
And that's a separate person to the salesperson.
Totally. I want people to set up.
And they get paid for setting an appointment.
Yeah, and also incentivized for the sales as well.
So how much, can I just ask, how much does it cost? Is it an hourly rate? Is it a commission?
Hourly
Is it
rate,
both?
$24.72, basic wage in Australia. We have to do that. Plus they get $50 per closed set, per sale. So they're now incentivized to not book dog shit appointments.
Right.
So they get incentivized for the outcome you want, which is the
Correct.
sale.
So everyone's working as a team now. So a setter and a closer work together and
They don't want to fill the salesperson's time with shitty appointments.
No, and they're incentivized by the outcome, not by the appointment.
And how much do they get, the appointments?
$50 a sale.
$50 a sale. They get the $24 an hour plus the $50 a sale.
Yeah.
And then the salesperson is getting...
Yeah, they wash out to around about 10%. Anyone doing high ticket, and there's a whole structured way to put my comp plan together. Because in Australia, you can't pay a straight comp. Anyway, in short, if they sell $200,000 a month, they'll get $20,000 a month. With a mixture.
How much is the product ballpark?
Anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000, and we sell quite a few $25,000 products.
So $5,000 to $25,000. So you got a Facebook or Google type ad funnel that runs to a survey.
Yes.
That either ends up with a direct appointment into the salesperson's calendar,
Correct.
or they didn't book, and in which case the appointment setter sets the thing.
Yes.
And then the salesperson rings up, and I suppose on paper they're getting an hourly, but then they're mostly getting commission.
The salesperson gets an hourly as well. We have to in Australia. It's under fair work. If they're on my leads, on my systems, on my time frame, selling my products, and that's only their source of income.
It could be a retainer.
Otherwise it's called sham contracting. Ask me how I know. You can't put them on contract. So there's a retainer there, a base salary of $55,000 Inc. Super, plus they get comms on X, and then I massage that comp plan to make it attractive to high ticket closes where it needs to be 10%. So in total, it's a 10% package.
What's of the sales?
Whatever you sell, it works out. A combination of retainer plus commission works at 10%.
And are they remote? Where are they?
They're all over the place. I've got one in New Zealand. I've got one in Melbourne. I've got one here now. I've got another one that setters in Perth.
I'm assuming you'd want them with Australian accents selling to Australian people.
Yeah, although American's not too bad. But yeah, that's the guy in New Zealand. So that's that model for the sales team. So it's scalable in that sense. And the setters are doing well by all metrics from these guys out of the States, which have all the metrics and whatnot.
Fascinating.
So you're now using a company. You're not employing these people directly?
No, I'm employing them directly. I'm using them to do the recruitment and I pay a retainer for them to do the training.
Right.
Because
is there a recruitment fee?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. How much is the recruitment fee?
For a closer, it's $9,000 US, and for a setter, it's $6,000 US.
Wow. And is there a guarantee with them?
Yeah, there is.
A 6-month guarantee?
No, not at all. About 4 to 45 days from date of placement.
So if they're shit, you can say, give me someone new.
Yeah, exactly.
So fascinating.
Yeah,
eh?
that's
I love this
interesting.
because it just leverages.
But I just absolutely am at that point now where, recruitment is just...
What's the company?
It's called closes.io.
Closes.
.io.
I wonder if this would work for real estate.
Mate, they work for anything if it's high ticket, and that was we jumped through a few hoops, and they looked at my model, and I explained when I jumped on with their setter. I said, look, I gave them context that I used to be in the high ticket closing for information stage, so I got the model, and I had to show them I did show them my model to represent that, understand what high ticket closing looks like, that I wasn't wet behind the ears, so when they did place someone, they could legitimately go out to their database of high ticket closers and go, this is a high ticket opportunity. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good match for their company, because when you go to opt in for them, it's are you a coach, consultant, et cetera, et cetera. It's got a high ticket offer. So I had to sell myself to them, or my business to them, for them to go, yeah, actually, you know what, you do come within our purview, and we will then start placing. So our model's quite unique, that we've had to mould a few of the tracking elements, because we're not a one call close or a 2-call close, we're a multi-touch close. So it's quite interesting. They've learned a bit. I've learned a bit on the way through from how they do stuff. But as far as the sales training and the modelling goes, the training's remained mine, because they try and put them through their model of sales training. But because we're fairly unique, I've nutted out the actual training modules, and they've gone, actually, you know what, your way is better. Let's just stick with yours. So they effectively are a recruitment a service for me. And as I said, the next step will be getting a sales manager in there, which then leaves me just with marketing, which I quite enjoy.
Do you still pay them for the training, even though they're using your model?
Well, the training comes with. So with $9,000 or $6,000 in that placement period, you get access to all areas anyway. Their whole goal is to have me as a client continuously. They're going, because they want to scale with me. So we'll effectively have them on board.
$9,000, $6,000.
Totally, man. And $9,000 to me, 12,000 Aussie, whatever it is and the pain and the shit show is just gets cut it, because my time is best spent elsewhere. I just couldn't be bothered. And if you look at most recruitment companies in Australia, which I've dealt with in the past for this specific thing, is they're a fucking bunch of assholes. And
I've had bad experiences.
And the recruitment fee is not $12,000 for a sales guy. It'll be a percentage of perceived comp. Usually about 10%. They'll be paying north of 20%. Then they churn them.
Then they recruit them back.
Yeah. Totally. That's their model. So I'm like, screw that. And so look, so far so good with that, for that model.
This is one of the reasons, just quickly, that I've found, and Eric, we're all finding this, but you guys, now that you're on the pod more, everybody should be building a personal brand, and if possible a pod or content, because people get to know you deep, not just in a TikTok thing. But like, one of the greatest things we're able to do is recruit really good people who know us and want to be around the energy and the vibe, and it's such a valuable recruitment tool, is having a personal brand.
Two of my staff have come through you guys. One was from Eric, and one was from you. That was at Ratha for the
Where's
setting.
my referral fee, bro? What, $9,000 was it?
$9,000 US.
Yeah,
Do it for half.
okay. Invoicing you, bro. Come on.
How many fucking days I've been sitting here? Fucking making you look good, Eric. so look, that's the recruitment side of it's
wild.
good. But like, just to because I've got a few other things that we've been doing in the background.
Can I touch on that just a little bit more? Do you think that post-COVID, remote sales is obviously working really, really well now? Was it always working well pre-COVID as well, or has it really stepped up another level now because people don't want to meet face-to-face?
I didn't have a high-ticket business through COVID, so I couldn't answer that, but I could find out the result for you, because we bought this post-COVID, and through COVID we were doing other stuff. I can't remember what was Reliable. Actually, no, that's not true. We did through Reliable. We had put on some high-ticket closes. We built that team through the Platinum membership, though. So we had that community there yet again. But no, they converted quite well, and they worked through COVID. It's about having that weekly meeting of all hands. It's all about having a daily meeting. It's all about just keeping that touch alive.
Culture and recognition.
And again, that's what I want to step away from with this now. I'm past those days of me running teams are over. So that's the the sales perspective.
And now that you've kind of let go of the thing that's draining your energy, which is the recruiting, have you reassessed where you think your TAM can be, or your total addressable market? Like, have you reassessed where you think you can grow it?
Yeah, that's where we're leading to at the moment. Now, there's a few other things we're restructuring to get to that point. One was our accounts process completely. We've gone to a profits first model, and that's just been implemented at the moment. It gives you a shitload more clarity on what your business really looks like.
Can you talk about some of the principles of that? Because you've mentioned that before, and I haven't got to the book yet. It's called Profits First.
I just bought that book.
Yeah, by Malcolm. I can't remember his name. Anyways, I got it off a large business pod in the States, and there's about 25,000 now practicing accountants that run the Profits First model. So it's a cash model, and it's effectively breaking your bank accounts up. So when you and I could stuff this up, but I probably shouldn't. You get an income account, OPEX account, an owner's pay account, a profit account, a tax account, and we've got a sixth account called COGS, and they do what they call income allocations. So when a dollar comes in, X goes to that account, X, and then there's two offset accounts off that, which are in a bank that you can't touch digitally, and that's for your tax and your profit, and that sits over on that side. So you really have this completely structured. So you can actually
that's very unique. So a lot of people have a tax account.
Yeah, it's full of bullshit. They don't know what's in it.
No,
There's
but they do.
nothing in
Well, a lot of people don't as well, right? Like they're not taking out their GST and their tax liabilities. But what you just said is there's a second account for profit that you're setting aside.
Yeah, so what happens is when you've got your profit account and it sits in, let's say you bank with Westpac and you might have something like Bank of Queensland over here for two extra accounts. When that money's gone out of that account, it's an account that you don't want digital access to or visibility to. It's gone. This is a whole game of mental when you start, remember, when you're in a new business, you start robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're spending your tax money, you're spending your COGS money, and you're just constant dance. But when you've got your account set up in a structured manner, you can nearly manage your business by just looking at your bank accounts. You look at your P&L every month and whatnot. So that's been a good model to implement, and they're rebuilding their balance sheet and all that sort of stuff like that.
You said that really quickly, James. There's a lot of things you say quickly that has got a lot of wisdom in it.
There's so much in that.
Yeah, you said you could run your business by looking at your bank accounts. Now,
most people say they can do that.
But no, it's a horror show.
When you've only got one bank account or a commingled bank account or two accounts and they're commingled.
Never do that.
No, you can't do that. But this is the whole point of this. It should be you just log in and go, right, I know where I'm at right now. I know how much I'm getting paid. I know how much COGS has been separated out. So you don't get to that fuck moment when you got a $100,000 bill to pay a supplier and you're like, where's the money? And then you got to start pulling.
It's not just that. It hamstrings growth as well. Like we're sitting at, we just had Q4. We've got a little bit of cash sitting in the bank, and we're like, okay, we want to grow. We want to increase products. We want to increase resources, but we've got no idea on where's the limit of how much we can increase resources, how much we can increase products. But splitting it up into that account, it's predetermined for you, right?
Not only that, when you got an OPEX account as well, when you go, let's say I've got $20,000 in the OPEX account, and I've got 25 grand's worth of invoices to pay. You don't go and rob Peter to pay Paul. You work out how to either negotiate with the accounts payable. You start slashing accounts payable. You run leaner and you make better decisions based on your financial position. But you do not fuck with those accounts. And so it's a pretty solid model to run with. And then so it's working out how to, and also then it starts focusing on profit centers. We're not at that point yet.
I was going to say, like, a lot of businesses don't have the discipline to or the mindset that, like, businesses exist to make a profit. Totally. And this really puts a sharp focus on, is this business making a profit or are you wasting your life here? Because it's one thing to know that you're plowing the profits into growth. That's great, but you got to know that rather than, hey, I've just got a dog here.
Yeah. And not only that, it's one of those ones, when most small businesses, and we'll talk about a couple of things in a minute with acquisitions and whatnot, is that most people's financials are a shit show, and if they're living out of them as well, this model profits first. You want to run a car through it, you do it after once you've taken owner payout, and you run it that, and you're through your own structured account. This thing is set up to be run as a lean machine, not a fudge factory. So
who's your bookkeeper? Do they come with a bookkeeper?
No,
is it a system?
It's when you enroll with them, it costs us about, I'd like to say $900 a week. You get them a full dedicated day, plus they have it all streamlined. But they're also factoring, there's about another $200 in there, is that'll be end of year as well. because so you're into your tax, so you're prepaying your tax, so you don't get a $6,000 bill at the end of it. $1,100 a week. We're all told, and the bookkeeper we've got is a chartered accountant. They're a profits first trained person. She's super sharp. She's dealt with 8-figure companies.
Where do we find these guys?
Profits First Australia.
Profits First Australia with an S. Profits.
And we can throw the book up because it's based on the book,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah,
Richard,
yeah.
can you throw that up in post? Thanks, buddy.
So $1,100 a week.
And I got a fully cocked a chartered accountant on. Well, not yet. Anyway,
$1,100.
What kind of bookkeeper? $1,100 a week. Come on.
that's some cheapies, but that's pretty good going.
So $1,100 a week.
All told
Bookkeeper.
and it's bookkeeper.
Almost a financial controller, almost.
No, she is a financial control. Will be followed. As I said, we've just rolled over now, so we're at about week 3 or 4, and what they're doing is going back through our past 12 months and rebuilding the balance sheet, rebuilding the profit and loss with the profits first model in mind, and then going cool. And then from about week 4 onwards, which is after next week, not tomorrow, week after, we'll start to then look at that balance sheet, and then we'll start doing forecasting and start doing modelling. And because this is the bit where you're talking about doing forecasting, where's it going to come from? And that's where we're at. We've been sort of playing pin the tail on the donkey, where we're going to grab this, grab that. Is now we can start making educated decisions. Then there'll be inventory forecasting. Then there'll be what's it going to cost to put another sales guy? Where's that money going to come from? When can we put another sales guy on? Like really get granular and laser focused on what lever we're going to be pulling and when, based on our current metrics and what we need to hit to be able to pull these things off. And that's the bit I've never really been a master at. And we heard from Lux's greats, we heard Daniel from great at getting the cash flow in, but fuck the thing up every time from the mechanics or the operations of the business. And that's the thing I don't want to be doing.
As you get older, and we're all getting older, as much as you tease me universally, you just don't have time to be in a business where you're losing money.
No.
And it comes from being fucked for years, or just not being disciplined, having that happy-go-lucky, it's all going to be fine thing. You're like so anal about numbers, and I think that's a big key to your success. It's just you just have to be. And if those of you sitting there going, numbers is a headache to me, well, man the fuck up or get out of business.
That's
simple as.
And we all thought that way. I mean, when I remember first starting out, it was all about just lead sales.
It's such an immature approach.
And you only learn that when you're nuts handed to you multiple times.
Yep.
It's not a great model. So
You need to have discipline around money, right? And manage money. Like I've been, with some of the coaching that we've been doing, people have so much equity in their house and they're like, I want to invest in property. I want to do this. I'm like, well, there's an option of you going to refinance your house, right? Because you got the serviceability. But take that, $500,000 as an example. Right now, it's stuck in equity. If you can manage it, take the $500,000 out, just sit it in this offset account. It's doing the same thing, except now you have access to it. So if there's an opportunity that comes right across the desk, you can then action that straight away, right? But there's some people that can't actually manage that. If they know there's 500 grand sitting in an offset account, next thing you know, it's a $20,000 trip. Next thing you know, they're buying a watch. Next thing you know, it is a mentality.
There's financial discipline and ill discipline, but then there's like being so overwhelmed by the start of running a business and trying to do the sales and wear all the hats that you just haven't gotten around to it. I think the ill discipline that you're talking about, I mean, if you're there, you're fucked, right? Because you better build some discipline pretty quick or you're going to lose money.
You look at the real estate business that I'm in, right? Off the plan as an example, you're getting paid 50% of the comm up front. Then you're getting 50% of the comm paid on the back end. That could be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years down the road, right? When I look at a system like this, that's a very hard, in my mind, straight away, a very hard system to follow because, to be honest with you, for that real estate, because there's a long time before meals, if you know what I mean. So when you look at that, there's times where we might have to tip in a little bit in the short term because all of a sudden we got, 2 or 3 settlements coming in and it's like, oh, bang again, and then you're out reallocating that money as an example.
That then comes down to this, for this model here, it's all about the allocations, all based on percentages, and they've got this dialed in per sector. So it's not just what I'm doing, which is high turnover, or compared to a real estate business, they're different. And so it's not just one size fits all, but it's still the same principle still. And look, at most startups, sometimes you're tipping in, sometimes you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like we just literally did it previously to doing this. We had to, but still.
It's not perfect always at the start.
No, it's never perfect.
It's never perfect. But I think for the takeaway here, guys, go to check this out.
Yeah.
And in terms of education, do not be afraid to say, I don't know how to read a P&L. I don't know how to read a balance sheet. I don't know how they work together, and fucking fix it.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Just YouTube.
It's easy. How to read a balance sheet. It's for dummies.
Yeah, but honestly, you could do a one day. Like we can actually put on a one-day event that just financial literacy, and I reckon people would come.
Throw it in the comments if you're interested in something like that.
Because sometimes
Eric will do it.
Yeah,
It's such a boring fucking topic. Adam and I'll be at the pub.
Watch, Eric. That's very kind of you.
And take it out of your OPEX account.
I'd rather have sex with a cheese.
Yeah. Well, it was slightly amusing, but mostly painful.
yeah.
Exactly. No, bro, honestly, just
important.
you got to just not be afraid to be dumb and to be basic. Go back to basics.
But not only audit when we're going through, and just as I said, we've now got stability. We've got belief in this sector. It's now also from a marketing perspective. I'm doing a full scale audit on our marketing. We had Danny on here from MX on a previous podcast. We've got multiple lead funnels running. Some great cost per lead, some are exorbitant cost per lead. But pulling that all apart now and doing a full audit on what leads are converting over what time frame, and now just cutting all the fat and getting down to one solid lead funnel or two lead funnels, and just then now going to double down on those lead funnels.
I was just going to ask if we can go back to that profits first model for a minute. How do they treat excess inventory? Because that's one of the challenges.
I'm not a profits first accountant, mate. So
no. But do you have any excess inventory within your business? So you haven't faced that issue yet? Because that's something that we're going through at the moment. We've got a bunch of inventory, a bunch of SKUs that have way more than, like, we want 6 months worth of stock. We've got way more than 6 months worth of stock. So I'm trying to reconcile now at the moment, well, there's a lot of cash just sitting there on shelves. If I can raise that cash quickly, we've got more money to fund growth of the business. But we're just on Amazon at the moment. So on the flip side of that, I could be taking that inventory and selling it off Amazon rather than discounting it. So it might be better, like after today's pod, listening to Dan from MX, I'm thinking, well, the better strategy is don't discount that on Amazon, start getting my off Amazon ads going and start selling that for full retail.
Exactly. Then you could do a frenzy, a click frenzy, or you could do a...
Yeah.
Like, and I'm building my list as well.
We're doing something in MX called Mayhem. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same type of model. No matter what business you're in, whether you have a $1 million business, $100 million business, $1 billion business, stock is a problem. You're never going to order the right amount of stock at any point in time.
And it's an asset.
Yeah, you're either going to have not enough stock, you're out of stock problem, or you've got too much stock.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you look at something like a business like MX, that's about, not about price, it's about range, it's about service as an example, right? And speed. We can't just start discounting and having sales all the time, because that's not what MX is about, right? And then hence us creating that another domain, right, which is a sales site. So that way we could push slow-moving stock. We could talk to, suppliers and see what their slow-moving stock is, because every business has slow-moving stock. But what happens is you go on your Amazon business, and if you're selling it for $300 as an example, and you're going, shit, we've got too much of this. You can't then just go sell it for $150 and then put your price back up to $300. You're gonna ruin your business, right? Whereas if you're offsite and you have, it might not even be the same brand name. It might be a separate brand name.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not,
that's a white label. So you're not cannibalizing that brand, but it might be just other brand that you're servicing and nobody knows.
Well, when you're on Amazon and you want to go off Amazon, you don't even have to set it up as another brand, because generally you can sell for more off Amazon than what you can on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
let's touch base on this, because I know we were discussing this off camera, that you have a successful Amazon business.
Yep.
And which is great, right? Amazon's a great model. Obviously, Adam's got years and years of experience on Amazon and in the education space, and you were one of those people that obviously met Adam through that, and now you've got this successful business. But I look at the Amazon model and I go, I look at it and going, it's easy and it's not. It's easy from a warehousing is sorted, demand is sorted, right? They sort out a lot of stuff, and then it's not easy on a lot of other fronts. But the amount of time and effort, right, that you're putting into that business, it's not going to take much more time and effort building your own Shopify business. It's just, it's different levers that you have to deal with, right? You got to deal with 3PLs and whatnot, and creating the demand, right? And that's why people go to Amazon. But I highly recommend you for sure is starting, offsite
Well, you are,
on a
though, Mark. I mean,
Shopify,
your
for
next
sure.
brand is, right?
No, well, so I mean, I think that's the thing that we're learning at the moment. So we've got the first brand that's all on Amazon, and then we've got the second brand that we've basically, the plan was to go off of Amazon, but we started by launching it on Amazon to get that low hanging fruit, because the process is so easy. The customer is there; they're going with an intent to buy. But the thing that's changed with Amazon over time is that there's more and more competition, and the cost per click is getting higher and higher and higher. So more ads are being done through paid advertising. So what that basically means is, to succeed on Amazon with a new product today, you pretty much have to sell at a loss for a prolonged period of time. So I'm sitting here going, well, I've got the existing brand that's got excess stock. I've got the new brand that is going to need to sell at a loss for a large amount of time. Where should I be allocating my capital? Where should I be allocating my resources? And the natural tendency is to think, well, drop the prices on Amazon, clear some of that stock, get the cash in, feed the other brand. But after listening to the conversation today, I think that's the wrong strategy. I think I need to go down the path of launching the existing brand off Amazon, taking some of that stock that's in 3PLs, it's not in Amazon, it's in 3PLs, and getting it off the shelves, having the 3PLs fulfill it, and start learning the craft of selling off of Amazon. Because then I'm not in a race to the bottom with the rest of my competition.
It's a real scary thing, man. Like, when you actually really get into the numbers of Amazon, and this is in the end, I got an email this morning saying I'd been my listing in Germany, my account in Germany has been shut. I haven't sold in Germany for like 5 years, but I was shut down for something or other. I don't give a fuck because I'm not selling on there anymore. I was like, oh, imagine if I had a business actually on there still. But when you actually do the numbers, it's not uncommon, and I want people to hear this, for 50% of turnover to be in Jeff Bezos' pocket.
100%.
In one form or another, in terms of ad costs, fulfillment costs, refunds.
Commissions.
Yeah, commissions, like 50% of turnover.
Yeah.
And up.
I can tell you that for a fact, right? Like, you've got commission, sales commission is 15%.
Yep.
Most products, unless they're really established, will have to run at a TACO, so total advertising cost of sale, between 15 and 20%.
Yep.
Right? So ours is about 18%. So you've got, what's that? That's 32. And then you've got FBA fulfillment fees. And if you've got a heavy product, your FBA fulfillment fees are going to be...
And then the other thing that people
returns.
don't think about is that Amazon customers in America are so spoiled, and they're rat bags in some categories.
Yep.
Like, they'll go, those shirts look good. I'll order all 10.
Yep.
I'll try them all on, and I'll keep the one I like and send them all back. And they send it back unfolded, unwashed.
Sometimes they buy your product and send their used product back.
Yeah.
Right? So 5% refund in our category. I've got a mate who started a shoe brand. He's got 15% refund. So if there's anyone thinking about going on Amazon and doing fashion, be careful.
Clothing's brutal.
Make sure you factor in a high refund rate. So that's 32 plus 5, 37. And then the FBA, it's above 40%.
Yeah. So half your turnover is going to Jeff, right?
And you don't get to build your list.
Yes, and you don't own a customer, you don't get their email addresses.
And then if you are profitable, and because you've got something like a 1 to 4, 1 to 5 cost of goods to sale ratio, guess what? Everyone else has got the same software that's going to go and find it within 3 or 4 months, and then you just created a shit ton of bloody water.
Exactly. Then everybody copies the most successful
it's
product.
fucking hard to stay current on Amazon.
So tell me, as an example,
Yeah.
what's your GP roughly on your product?
Yeah, so it varies depending on whether we're launching new products.
No, your existing one that you have now, roughly.
I reckon it's come down a lot because the advertising costs have come up. It was as high as 27%, but now it's probably come down to 22%.
What's the AOV on that brand? On
what?
Average order value.
Again, that's come down because we're launching some cheaper products, but it's about $65 to $75.
So therein lay a question I have for you. If you're going to go run Shopify with that brand, know your metrics, because you could be in for a headline for a disaster trying to sell stuff at $65 on Shopify, running paid traffic at a product with $65. If it's a run out stock sale, you just want to burn it, that's fine. But what you might find is you'd be spending $65 to get $65. So I'd look at that as well, because having a ticket that's not
that's always been the reluctance to go off of Amazon, has always been my worry about the cost of the ticket.
See, in your
So-
new brand, are you disclosing your new brand?
Yeah, it's sauna blankets and ice baths.
Yeah, so that stuff's not $65.
No,
No.
So now that's perfect for off.
Yep.
Your
But-
average order value there is probably what, $200 or $300 or something.
Yes, it's anywhere from $100 to $700, right? So, but we have $1 million worth of inventory in the existing brand, so it's probably the lowest hanging fruit for me to learn off Amazon rather than the new brand.
When you say $1 million, you mean cost price, retail value?
No, I think COGS
Cost of goods.
landed. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got $1 million of your capital tied up,
Landed.
not potential
Landed,
revenue.
yeah.
You're talking real dollars.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
put-
landed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so your GP, right, excluding advertising as an example.
It includes advertising.
Yeah, but excluding that,
Yep.
what's your GP?
Add back 17 to 20%.
So you're at about 50-ish, 48?
Yeah, like when you add back say 20 plus
Yeah.
20, 40 at least.
You're at 40.
At least, yeah.
Okay. Because like obviously,
We
as
measure.
discussed
I
before,
measure
a
gross
third of
profit.
that.
I measure because I'm on Amazon.
Yeah, correct,
And
yeah.
Amazon takes the advertising fees out.
Yeah.
I measure my gross profit after advertising.
Yeah, so a new product,
so
right,
40%.
as discussed before in a previous discussion, was a third, right, of the balance. So if you've got 40 as an example, if you have 40 as an example, like you should be a third of that, right, should be spent on acquiring a new customer.
$13.
No,
Right,
but
so that's 13
Dan was
bucks.
saying lifetime value. A third of lifetime.
lifetime,
yeah.
That's lifetime. But have you worked that out on how
Well,
many?
it's hard for us to work it out because again we're on Amazon, but
exactly.
but we do know our repeat purchase rate's 1.12, so we are getting a 10%.
You're getting data.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
12%
a thing
repurchase.
that people don't realize about Amazon businesses. They hear like $100,000 a month turnover, but in reality, when Jeff keeps his half, you actually only get 50 of that, and then from that 50, you have to pay for the running of your business
Yeah.
and the cost of goods sold, because
Wh-
that's just what he keeps in fees. So half your turnover doesn't actually even hit your bank account.
Wh-
It's all retained by Amazon.
Well, I mean, we've had to grind it out to get to where we are, right? Like we shouldn't have succeeded
Yeah.
because the majority of products in our niche are selling for between 19 and $25, and we're selling at 55. Now, it is a better quality, but again, the customer can't see it. So we've just had to grind it out.
What I think you'll find interesting, Eric and I are working on a product right now, and you guys know what it is. We're not disclosing it just yet because it's going through a process and we want to get a patent on it. But our strategy is to launch on Shopify, and people asked, when are you going to launch on Amazon, or are you going to? Maybe once later the brand is really well known and we'll make it a distribution channel once the brand's known, but it's not the type of product because it's a demonstrative product.
Yeah.
And the parameters of what you can do to explain it are limited on Amazon. So we're going to start off Amazon. It's a recurring product, it's demonstrative, and it's...
I think there's some important context for the audience watching as well,
Yeah.
right? And it's about when to get into Amazon versus when not to.
Yeah.
When we first got into Amazon, I'd never run a business before. I was selling real estate, right? So getting into Amazon was the best strategy for us at that time because we didn't understand all these other parts, the sophisticated other parts to business. If you're at the level where you've run businesses before, where you guys clearly are, it makes no sense to launch on Amazon now. You go and you patent the product, you launch it off Amazon, you've got the skills, you've got the networks, you've got the contacts who can grow it for you. But for people out there that are watching, like my cousin just launched on Amazon. He's call him baby cousin, but he's 32 years old, right? Or 30 years old. And, they've got $5,000 to spend. $5,000 is not enough to launch a business off Amazon, but it is enough to launch a business on Amazon.
because the traffic's there.
Right. So if you're just starting out and you want to learn the ropes and get in the ring.
And what's also terrific about Amazon, I've beaten the shit out of Amazon
No,
here
but
today,
the context is important. Nuance is important.
Yeah, it is. And what's good about it is it teaches you that how to look at a marketplace, like let's say it's ice baths,
Yep.
right? And go, right, these are all the competitors. You can see all the competitors. How am I going to win?
Oh, it's a jungle.
Because
Yep.
all of the competitors is there. You can see their headline, you can see their photos, you can see their product, you can read there's so much information. And then you've got to go, how do I win? Right? And then you go to the market with your iteration that you thought was going to win, and you will find out real quick. You can go and spend $1,000 on ads to get people to go and visit your listing, and by virtue of them looking at the listing and the price, they're either going to buy it or they're not. And you'll get real feedback from a marketplace really quick. So it gives you that discipline of differentiation in a really competitive marketplace. But if you can figure out how to differentiate, there's only one more step, which is if I can differentiate and protect it, and then there's search outside of Amazon, then you've got like the
also just for context too, about Amazon does have a place. I used to had 2 brands on Amazon, so I've been through the Amazon mill as well. But something like what you're talking about, which is a consumable, it's going to have enough fat in it, is where Amazon would come into play. There's a lead gen model, because you sell it once on Amazon and pull them off Amazon and sell on your own site over there. So it's not a case of where you're going to get shot to pieces with competitors and whatnot. You've got your moat, you've got your patent. It's not your primary. It's a lead gen funnel for ads to your Facebook, ads to your Google, ads to your social. So that's the way I would use that for that type of product.
We're using like a little bit of a different strategy on one of the businesses I'm involved with. So Jevity, right, which is the bone broth business. It's a lot more than bone broth now. There's marinades, there's bone broth sauces and different things. Now in Woolies, right?
Just bring that up, Richard, on the screen so people can see what we're talking about. Jevity.
Yeah, Jevity RX, right? So you now in Woolies and Coles, right? Which are the 2 biggest.
Congratulations, by the
way.
Yeah,
well, my business partner's done an amazing job with closing those deals.
It's a fucking dark horse, this bloke, isn't it? It's just like this other business I have.
And this other business
it's
I've got
Mark's
called
business, but I mean, you back to it.
This other business I've got called Lamborghini. What?
But
So I don't work in that business. But
that's part of your genius zone, though. Like, is
it is
getting involved
and building the trust, and again through network.
Keep going,
right?
That's a good story.
So you look at that, and the goal is to go to the US, right? But at the end of the day, the US doesn't look at Australia, right? They're not going to go, oh, Coles, Woolies, oh, big deal, right? So, and it's a very successful online brand as well, and in all the health food stores. So our strategy is going, okay, we need to build brand awareness in the US, right? So path of least resistance in my mind, and I like your guys' opinion on this, is going, launch it on Amazon. Don't worry about making money on Amazon. I don't care if it breaks even on Amazon. Get all the stock there for the lead gen, like James just said, right? And just pump that. Whether it takes a year, whether it takes 2 years, just pump it.
You can win. You can win on Amazon.
Yeah.
And Udi, who's got doing $100 million in sales in travel on Amazon, does it and wins.
Yeah.
And his strategy is he goes onto Amazon, he undercuts everyone there.
Yeah.
He builds his reviews to higher than the average reviews on page 1. Yeah. And once you get to that point on Amazon, then you can start raising your price and you can win. So if you've got deep enough pockets to outlast all your competition on Amazon, you will win.
Yeah.
And Amazon USA is different to starting a business in Australia, because Dan was saying it before, like most purchasers, they start on Amazon to see if the product's there, and then they go off Amazon.
Yeah, and that's where, right? So we'll go on Amazon for brand awareness, right? Even if it sits at break even, doesn't matter, because the goal is to get it on the shelves, get it into Trader Joe's, get it into Whole Foods.
That's a different category altogether.
Yeah, but would you guys think that's a good strategy?
For Jevity, for sure.
And then 100%. All while you have a Shopify starting to, because we'll have to 3PL it there, right?
You should for that, because it's basically retail distribution on Amazon for a product like that.
It's a rolling start.
You couldn't, Jevity, you couldn't launch through Shopify because the price of the product, what is it, $20 a jar or something?
To 30.
$30 a jar. So
but nobody knows it there, right? That's
nobody knows it, but how are you going to run traffic to event? You can't.
Your acquisition cost on Amazon is going to be heaps lower, right? Like it might only be 6-7% of the cost. But
then we could sell the story, right? You can sell the story going, we're in Woolies, we're in Coles, we're on Amazon. We've got 1,000 5-star reviews. Hey, Mr. Distributor,
consumables,
take it to Traders.
Consumables, if you can nail it perfect for Amazon, because you're getting the repeat purchase as well.
Yeah.
But it's also not easy to copy Jevity. Like, I know a little bit about that product. Mark is the guy when it comes to bone broth.
100%.
So he knows shit that's not easy to know.
Yeah.
And not only does he know shit that's not easy to know, there is a moat around that product. It is not easy to source the materials to go into that product and then package it in that way to store safely and to be dry. There's a lot of a moat in that business, which is why I'm sure you invested in it. But I would definitely launch on Amazon. The buyers there will find you, like as in Trader Joe's and all the big chains. But that's a different case again, and there's probably some storage things and whatever else.
So you're trying to sell through distribution points as well. So you're in
On the
Woolworths,
shelves.
and
Yeah.
so would you sell through another e-commerce brand? So say for example, our business gets to the point where we're selling $10 million worth of sauna blankets and ice baths a year. As an add-on product, we want to put that product on our website.
Yes.
Could we sell that on our
Yes.
website and then you guys ship it?
Yes.
We should talk about that.
Drop ship it,
Yeah. And you can throw
Yeah.
up our new sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blanket and ice bath company on the screen.
What
if
is
you
it?
want. If anyone, it's Deep Modality.
Deep Modality. Plug
It's on
for
Amazon
Mark,
at the moment. You won't find it on a website. You just find it
$5
on
grand
Amazon.
sponsorship fee.
Yeah.
An invoice.
So, like James said,
No, go and support Mark's
if you need
business
an
if
ice
you want.
bath or sauna blanket.
You know what I love? Like,
But I'd love to talk about that.
yeah. And this is what I mean. This is why I love doing
Because it helps us build our awareness as well.
a pod like this, right? It's like there's different opportunities that come up, and we're all in the weeds of different types of businesses.
When are
right?
we getting Mark on from Jeopardy?
He's gonna come on.
Mark, come on,
I'm
bro.
working on him.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
working on him.
Mark's a killer. It'd be great
Yeah.
to have him on.
Yeah,
It's a great brand and I love it. But that's another example. Mark, that should blow up in the US, that product, in my opinion.
It will.
It's,
Yeah, it will
It's
within.
recurring. It's a
Yeah.
great product.
It
It's
will
a
within
great
time.
brand.
I mean, to be honest with you, 2-3 years ago, I was actually working the back end of Amazon, and we were selling it on Amazon, and we were fulfilling it from here. Funny enough,
I was working the back end.
right? And
Not fulfilling in the back end.
It's more fulfilling. Is that what you said? It's more fulfilling in the back end.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Jesus, that went south.
we
quick.
were fulfilling from the back end, but the breakages were too high, so we stopped doing it. Honestly, we were sending them. But honestly, we were sending them like 1 jar, 2 jars, just from here. For
You
the
were
brand
sending it
awareness.
right.
But the breakages, then we just thought, you know what, no, and they just, that was before Woolies, that was before Coles, and now it's turned into a different business. And the
we
US
should have a
will
chat.
definitely be a
We should have a
massive
chat. I
market
can-
for that business. But I love it because we're all in the weeds, right?
Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
what we
we're-
want to do, guys. Like, please, if this is helping you, drop a comment below. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because honestly, we're sort of just experimenting here with, like, I just said to the guys, come in. I'd like to try and do a Friday pod, and it's not going to be super structured. I just want to talk about real shit we're actually thinking about and doing in our businesses, so that you guys know this is us really trying to build our empires as well. Like, this is what we're talking about. If you were to sit with us, we've got a coffee shop outside the studio. This is the exact type of conversation that we
You're a
have.
fly on the, basically you're a fly on the wall
Yes.
right now.
Speaking of dropping it in, the drop
Here we go.
Drop it like it's hot.
the drop shipping company that we had on the pod a couple of weeks ago, My Neon Store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little update on that. So that was an interesting pod. We've had quite a bit of interest and some solid interest, actually, Eric. We're at the point now where we're closing out all applications, but they're still flowing through, which is good. Now we're having one-to-one calls with the owner on board, running through that process. So it's been interesting. I think we're going to achieve quite a good result with that, probably more than expected on the pod. Now we've
Wow.
got his new freshly audited financials through from his accountant that he's actually going to be paying tax on. He actually got a surprise, and he's now, and a few other surprises that we when we started pulling back the young layer back, he's like, fuck, I don't really know whether I said, mate, you put it on the pod, you signed up, buddy, this ship's sailing, buddy. So that's all good. We'll have the applications closed off and then I don't know what date this pod's going to drop, but within 7 days, all offers submitted, legit offers that have all gone through. A call with me, a call with the owner. They've gone through the full data room. They've gone through everything. They'll have access to the Xero file. So it's going to be a fully audited process. There'll be no warts on this thing whatsoever. And then 7 days after that, there'll be offers submitted. And then from that point there, I'll take the 3 best offers to Richard. To then start negotiation and get the thing under LOI. So
Amazing.
Hopefully,
That's exciting.
hopefully in 14. I don't know what date this thing's going to drop, but on the 14th of April, we'll have a buyer at the table with ink on a contract to do.
That's great. Congratulations to the buyer and seller there. 'Cause
Well,
I really think Richard was a good dude.
Yeah, he was. So is actually still. He's still with us. So that's the update on My Neon. It's been an interesting experience for him. I
For
think.
those who don't know what we're talking about, what is the website?
MyNeonStore.com.
So this is founded by a guy in our community. It's a drop shipping business. does about 1.5 million a year from memory.
It would at one point it'll be just on 1.67 for trailing 12 months as at March 31st.
Okay, so 1.67 million, and it's US, right?
No, that's Kiwi dollars,
Kiwi, yeah.
Aussie.
So it's a Kiwi guy, 1.67 Kiwi Aussie dollars, and we've got him on the pod because he wants to sell the business, and we thought maybe there's someone in the community that'd like to buy it. Again, using influence rather than traditional brokers, but also giving people an insight into the business and the founder and the real story. And it looks like that's going to be sold. So let us know when it's done, because we're going to order one and we'll do it to celebrate. We'll put it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Neil time.
I wasn't on that pod. Can I ask a quick couple of questions? Are you charging a commission for that sale, or is it just an experiment?
Mate.
Is the Pope Catholic? Jesus, this is James Denner.
Me.
Of course you'll do.
He's been wearing the same linen shirt for 2 months, man. He's got to charge a commission.
Hey, I'm living free today.
No.
But he will charge commission.
No, that'd be amazing to hear the result and how you go.
There's a lot of
It-
time in it. Yeah.
It may not get away, but I think
Well, I had a mate who's got a drop shipping business, and he didn't think he could sell it because it's drop shipping. So
If there is somebody out there who's got a great business that they want to sell, but it has to be good. We don't want some shit business that you're just trying to dump.
No.
But if you've got a good business, hit James up.
yeah, and come to the table. Be prepared to have the rubber gloves, like a proctology exam too, because we're not putting any, as Adam said, dog shit in the public domain. We don't want to attract shitty sellers, but also when we do present this stuff, the quality of people that are coming through that actually are coming through with fully loaded checkbooks are not idiots. So
I'll be watching this closely.
We're not going to dish up shit.
Maybe-
We're not saying that we're going to do a pod with everyone. We may or may not, but we've got an email list, and if we do get a good business through, or we might drop it into a pod saying, hey, James has got a business, these are the broad strokes. It's just we want to see if we can help people who've built businesses that have genuine reasons for moving them, not trying to dump shit onto our community, and just help people in our community fast track. So we're sort of playing with it at the moment.
There might be a piece there when it does close, is explain the steps too, because I have been getting quite a few questions in the comments, and to me is, I'd love to know more about how this process works. Like buying a house is pretty simple. You go look at the house, you put an offer in, contract goes, you get your money, goes unconditional, you settle. A completely different process for a business.
Yeah.
Like the ball bounces in a similar sort of model, but there's so many different steps. There's so many different avenues where the thing can go south or sideways. And a lot more.
Drop a comment if you'd like us to do a pod on this with James and maybe the buyers if they're up for it when they come in.
yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Guys, we've been riffing here. Richard, how long have we been going?
Hour and 15.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That flew by.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. Enjoyed it, boys.
Yeah. So drop a comment, guys, if you've enjoyed this pod. Let us know what you like, what you'd like us to talk more about. We want to be led by the community, and we're trying to provide information that you can listen to in the background and go, fuck, this is really good. Like, I'm actually enjoying this because it's real shit. We're not just sitting here talking about high level, think positive out there, guys. And when you're feeling down, make yourself a lemonade. Like, we want to actually give you real banter that's actually valuable and helpful to you. So let us know if you go, fuck, I'd really love to learn more about the accounting, or, and you want to attend Eric's one-day workshop on accounting. Let us know.
Financial literacy 101.
I think it's a 2-day event for sure.
It's a week long.
5 day.
A week long.
One day on the P&L, one day on the balance
And
sheet,
look,
100%.
it's easy. It's only $9.95 to come and join Eric.
Yeah.
We've got the venue.
Free.
We've got the venue booked. It's all
And
done.
Eric will give
Free
all
if
dollars
you
to
like and
charity.
subscribe. Free if you like and subscribe.
You know what? I'm going to do it just to piss you all off, and I'm going
Why
to
piss us off, Eddie?
fill up a room.
It would make me
500
laugh.
people.
It would make me laugh.
Oh, my God. Jesus
And
Christ.
maybe we like.
I'll set the dates now as well. It's going to be the 24th and the 25th.
Hey, all I know is that we've recently had a message from a student saying that their profit is 48% up in 2 months based on a phone call. So
Yeah.
couldn't be
Just
too
on
bad.
that, Eric.
How many units did you order?
I can't have a win.
job.
I give up.
That's right, Eric.
What were you going to say?
On that, we are, just to put one more plug in here, so we're so shameless today about plugging James's shit and everybody's stuff. We are going to be opening our business coaching soon. So We're currently working with about 33 clients in our first intake, and then we closed it off. We just wanted to work with them and see how it was going and if they're finding value. The feedback has been phenomenal, and we're absolutely loving doing it. We're seeing real changes in people's businesses, and we're going to open up soon. So if you want to be let known about that, go to my Instagram, which is Adam Hudson Official. Just send me a DM. It's not cheap, right? It's not cheap. You can work with us for 3, 6, or 12 months. Ranges from 8,000 to 20,000 for those periods. And we do have finance if you need it, or you just want to keep the cash in your business, where for $100 a week, you can get the full 12 months, $20,000 coaching. But it's perfect for people who've got businesses that want to have one-on-one with Eric and myself, and you guys are actually on our coaching panel as well as about another 5 coaches that we currently have. Everything from pay-per-click, we've got pay-per-click experts, optimization experts, sales experts like James. So you can have one-on-ones with us, as well as every Monday night we have a group coaching call. We have events. So we recently took all our coaching clients through the MX store in Burleigh. We took them through the studio here. We spent a day on the boat with them.
Yeah, it was great.
Took them out to dinner. It was awesome.
Great experience.
Richard, you might be able to throw up some B-roll while I'm talking about this.
Make sure you add his shirt.
Yeah, Eric was loving his.
Touch the shirt.
Get to touch the shirt. But no, it's really good. So we're having a great time doing it. And we're seeing not only increases in profits and efficiencies, but networks as well, which has been really great. We're seeing people do deals together. On Monday night's call, we had a guy who's got a great business idea and needs a business partner. And so we're helping people put together, and we actually give everybody in the coaching program the database of everybody in the coaching program, who they are, their contact details, and they're setting up Zoom calls with each other. We've got guys in there making millions of dollars out of real estate. We've got guys in there doing millions of dollars out of e-com, and you literally set an appointment, get to know the people, hang out, whatever.
It's not just about money as well. I met a guy at your Wealth Builders event a few months back, and we just spent 3 days together at the Grand Prix. We hang out, and we're close mates. So,
the network and the community.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's building tribe.
Yeah, building tribe. So if you want to get in a tribe that is sort of a continuation of this kind of vibe, where we're very open, we're not sugarcoating it, and you're getting coached by people that are actually really running businesses today and are still in the weeds of being business owners today, then this is the program for you. We'll interview with you first anyway to make sure it's a good fit. We have no interest at this point in working with people it's not a good fit. There's not going to be a sales process. There's no sales page with limited time.
We send out to plenty of people, right?
Yeah.
Or the ones that try.
If you DM me, what I will do is I'll say, hey, look, here's an actual live one-on-one call that was recorded, and here's a live recording of our most recent, or one of our recent group coaching calls. Watch those, and if you like them and you think that's something you're interested in, hit me back. That's our sales pitch. We don't have that sort of manipulative bullshit. We do only open it a few times a year because we don't want to be sitting here selling all the time. We're just like, we're taking an intake of 10, 20 people, work with them for a few months, but get them bedded down, and then bring in another group. And that's how we're doing it at the moment, because we're too busy to be talking to people all the time. We'll open up for like a couple of weeks, talk to all those people, onboard them, and then close it, and then start again a bit later in the year. So that's it. If you're interested in that, hit me up in the DMs. Our new website's about to launch. By the time this pod comes out, it will be launched, which I'm excited. It looks really good. Yeah, it's a lot better than what it is now. And last call out, if you guys know any people that should be on the pod, amazing people that are doing real shit in business or have done real shit in business, let us know. Go to the website, dob them in. Let's see if we can get them on the pod and learn together and grow our network. So thanks for watching, guys. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We appreciate you. Hope you've enjoyed this first Friday riff, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye for now. Hey there. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Unemployable. If you'd like to watch another episode, just click there.